Here's a problem I thought would be interesting to look at. We are looking at a parallelogram which is sitting on a coordinate plane, and we put it in a particular place. We want to identify the coordinates of this, and because we're using letters to represent our coordinates, this could represent any parallelogram. And so this question is asking, in parallelogram ABCD, what are the coordinates of point C? So how do we figure this out? Because it's not like, 3 or 5 or something like that. It's a letter, and we can't just add a letter. We can't just say, D, comma, E, which would be the next two letters. So that doesn't make any sense. We're only bound by what we have here. We have A, B, and C, and we have 0. So obviously when we put the parallelogram on the graph, we put it in such a way that one corner is right here at the origin, and that ordered pair is 0, 0. And then we came over this distance and we said, well, let's just call that length A. So this distance is A, comma 0 would be that ordered pair because we're not going up and down at all. So that 0 represents that we're still sitting on the x-axis. But this distance would represent that letter. So this distance is A. Now remember, in a parallelogram, the opposite sides are the same length. So if this is A, then this distance from here to here would also have to be A. Now the bad news is that I can't just call this ordered pair A, comma, something, because there's this distance here that we got to think about. We've got this distance as well. So if we're going to go to this point, we have to go A plus whatever this distance is. I don't know what that distance is. And then we go from here straight up that distance. Okay? Well, this distance is easier to figure out because that height is exactly the same as the height of this point. So if I went over here and went up to this, B has to represent this height. So this height is the same as this one, so this is B. So therefore, this ordered pair, the y coordinate has to be B. Both of these points go up the exact same distance. So since that one's B, this one is also B for the y coordinate. But for the x coordinate, it's different. This goes to A, but then we got to know what this distance is. Well, what's true about a parallelogram is that this angle and this angle would be the same. So this distance and this distance would be the same. So, well, what is this distance? Well, this distance would be the distance you go over to get to that point, and that distance is C. So here to here is C, and that's going to be the same as this question mark. That's going to be C. So to get to this corner, we got to go A units plus C units. So this x coordinate is A plus C. A plus C. So it's A plus that length, which is C. So A plus C, comma, up B. And so there is the coordinate for point C.